Wow, that is an extra special bottom zone. John Nielsen here for once again the Nielsen ratings. Yeah, I know we're late. Things happen. Schedules get all kerfuffled, and well, we're gonna make it up to you because it's the LARP episode. Along with me, of course, the bachelors to my masters, Mr. Eric Watkins.
Just when I was setting you up for the first gimmick of the night.
We do have a lot of gimmicks around here. So, only 2 topics on the list tonight. Yeah, we still need that sponsorship, by the way. So, lunch all increase to the appropriate place.
About that, stay tuned for Point of Viewer. There might be future developments.
Oh. So, only 2 topics tonight. The LARP, that'll take a while, so we're going to move that on to the second phase of the show. But first, we've got some topology to talk about.
The
And
Klein
specifically,
bottle.
not the Klein bottle. We want to talk about its proper, non-necessary of a higher dimension equivalent, the torus. What some other people might call a donut, what I like to call a bagel. Yeah, this is the beginning of a fast food rant.
So you're saying that this one really grinds your gears, huh?
Yeah, we can go there. We can go into the gear grinding moment because McDonald's, we had to talk. We had to talk a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the pandemic started, and you started restricting that menu, you got rid of one very, very important breakfast item that I know you have had in the past, but you still haven't gotten back in your market. And I just got an alert on my phone. They're buy one, get one tomorrow for Valentine's Day. Bagel breakfast sandwiches at McDonald's. Hey, Mr. Producer, the steak bagel's back.
Yeah, you ain't getting anything.
No running. Oh, he still got his hands on the gimmick buttons. Go ahead, hit it.
I think he's trying to set the popper.
So yes, check your local market. You might have in your area.
Emphasis on the might. I'm not that lucky. However, I will say, even though it was an accident, a very serendipitous run-in as far as myself acquiring a chicken McMuffin, I definitely approve. The chicken McGriddle is better, but the McMuffin will do in a pinch.
McGriddles are always better. I mean,
True.
When that bagel went, I went bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle regular.
A good
Substitute
choice.
round egg, of course. Liquid egg product does not sit well with me.
Well, I don't know. I mean, now that you've got things like Just Eggs on the market, to me, it's not bad. Especially the way they have them all folded up or whatnot.
But here's how I do the steak bagel order. It is always with extra grilled onions. If they have to add raw ones on there to complement the grilled onions, that's okay. But I do love me those onions, and you know that's a fact.
Oh, yeah. You've never been shy about your love of onions.
Mm-hmm. And sub-round egg. Makes it a little bit messier, but when you put those two together, your Stone Cold rating of the century of the week, it is a 100. As if you'd expect anything less.
I mean,
And if you've got a problem with your steak bagels being rated so high, you can send all your hate mail to us to Bang bang!
I can't believe you! I can't believe you! I'm not sure if you're trying to infringe on Harry's gimmick or if that was actually a slip-up.
No, you can still say that's not garbage. Why not? Well, yeah, steak bagel, highly recommend. Go get yourself one, or two if you get the deal in your area. Which brings us to the meat and potatoes of tonight's topic.
You.
Because, of course, you got to get the meal with the hash brown.
Oh, great disappointment.
Thank you.
But wait, there's more.
Stu, what are you doing?
Making chocolate pudding.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you making chocolate pudding?
Because I've lost control of my life.
You were about to say to the great disembodied producer.
Thank you. Be glad that he's on the gimmicks tonight, not me.
Hey, on a certain other show, I do go by the moniker of the Prince of Puns.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. So, 3 facets to LARP. And we're going to talk about each of them in turn. You have your salon LARPs that are basically of the theatrical nature. You don't actually act out any combat scenes or things like that. You appeal to tabletop similar mechanics when it comes to that point.
Okay.
You have your buffers. These are basically your D&Ds with big foam sticks. Cannot recognize sorts of cold. Cannot identify the things that are equal with. It's like a Maury Povich thing. Hey, you over there. Be Shazam for me for a moment.
Oh. You have to remember this from back in the day. You have along the proper lines with the Maury Povich. However,
I'm sorry, I just trolled myself so good I'm crying. I have teared up. You can see the tears in my eyes on the camera.
This is the first time I'm doing this show on a fresh from 13-hour workday.
You could say, though, instead of Maury Povich, that this host of that show, whose theme you just heard, has a different set of baggage.
I had a feeling it was going that way. Speaking of baggage, I got to pack a suitcase for one of the
Jerry.
More on that in a past episode of Life is Like Game Show, which you can find in the archives here on the Not a network of podcasts. And you have your third category of LARPs, your Nordic, which is sort of fusion of the two, very high immersion.
So basically a combined, if you will.
You know, you would go for the Nordic combined joke.
I mean, after all, we're only, a couple of years away from Milan Cortina?
Do like me some Nordic combined too. Anywho, that's the one I don't have personal experience on. So that one you'll have to go to all those big LARP YouTube people that do the big travels to Beakeling, the basically Harry Potter game shoved in a castle somewhere. Think things of that nature when you're getting into that category. Very scripted, sort of unique formats and stuff. I started out in the salon era, that genre, in 2003 with a Vampire the Masquerade game, which I still play in to this day, just not the same characters. Oh goodness, not the same characters. That first one was such a fuck up. It's not funny. I was still learning the rules at the time.
Well, I mean,
You know how it is like with D&D. You build that first character, and then you realize how the rules really work.
Yeah, I'm actually gearing up for an online D&D campaign. My finally half-elf monk will be coming to life, as it were.
Monk. Nice. So overpowered in 3.0. Yeah. Remind me another day to mention the D&D game I ran in my college days. 3.0 Epic.
Oy.
Yeah, things got silly in a heartbeat. So, the Salon LARPs, you deal a lot with social dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of in-game politicking between the various characters. Because who's in charge? What's that external threat that's coming in? And sometimes the players become their own worst enemy. All those negatives on the character sheet get manifested, and then bad things happen to everybody, because why the heck not? Drama of the good variety. You could also have drama of the bad variety of various number of ways. Dissension within the game staff.
Oh boy.
Can cause the game to split in two, and now you got two different chapters in the same organization playing in the same geographic area. So instead of one game that's weekly every Saturday, now you got two that alternate Saturdays.
Oh, that is hard to keep up with.
You're telling me. Or you've got those games that just don't draw as many people, such as White Wolf's Mage the Ascension, which is the one that I tend to run most often. You get those going together once a month, typically. Just it's not the high. It's not the high volume draw that some of the other game lines that they have are known for.
The producer appreciates the clarification after having to have had to buzz you, but I respectfully disagree.
I like that genre the best when it comes to the salon game.
Yes, I agree with you
element
there.
Is definitely the highest of all of them. I just never get to play because I'm always running it.
Mage is not the lowest population White Wolf genre.
It's among the lowest, but there are others that when the revised editions of the books came out, there was one that didn't get a revised. The Ghost and Afterlife themed batch. Wraith the Oblivion. That is your lowest population. And ironically enough, my Mage Chronicle's picking up some Wraith players too, so yeah, we got all the odds and ends. It's going to be fun when that Chronicle relaunches sometime soon. More on that in a future episode. Probably with the producer around. Maybe with the producer around? I swear this producer's milking it for all he's worth.
I'm sure when the time comes.
No, that was for the producer's final thought this time.
Get out of my head, producer. I was literally about to say that.
So it was about 5 years ago I got introduced to the boffer side. I figured, interestingly enough, so the reason why I have asked the man to my side to wear that shirt on this show, the dice or tabletop equivalent for those games ends up being based upon rock, paper, scissors. The relaunched other games in line called their New World of Darkness uses D10 instead. Sometimes, because I have the prop on hand, instead of rolling a D10, you would have an extra from the cards.
Okay.
Ace through 10. Shut them
Okay.
up. They're effectively a 10-sided die.
Clever
in
way to do it.
portable form where you don't need to roll it down a flat surface and whoop, where did it roll to underneath the couch? Or an inaccessible area of your rented venue. Yeah. Venue cost. That's what the Nordics are supreme in. But buffer, I realized I need an outlet for exercise and fresh air. I'm getting more of the fresh air than the exercise right now. But it is full immersion. You actually get some of that physical exertion. You realize trying to coordinate a massive field battle and holding a front line together is like herding a bunch of cats.
Yeah, there's multiple of us that have had similar cat herding experiences.
Yeah, you have your melee people with shields in front, and you have your ranged combatants behind. And this works. Except when you don't have your shield line. Or your shield line's incompetent.
Did somebody say dice?
Yes. Only 10-sided ones, though, so that would probably eliminate a good deal.
Oh, you want 10-sided dice. Okay, that's these two boxes right here. Actually,
Thanks.
no, sorry.
Yeah,
these
that
two
was the unique
boxes
thing
right
about White
here.
Wolf games. They use 10-sided dice exclusively.
You have your percent dice, and then you have your actual 1d10s.
That's nice. Thank you, sir.
Actually, no, sorry. Those are the d12s. These are the d10s. Both of these. I have a lot of them.
White Wolf games, you go through, you use a good deal of them.
Nothing wrong with having some handy miniature decahedrons and duodecahedrons.
Oh, no. See, up here,
Duodecahedrons.
up top, in the flip top lid, you have your assortment of 1d4s.
AKA foot hazards.
Then you can see there's 1d6s, 1d8s. I have so many 1d10s, I had to make two things for them. There's your percent 1d10s that are 10, 20, 0 through 90.
Man, if only I could have a kitchen this well organized.
You have your 1d12s and then two of your 1d20s. And
see,
very
if
nice
I were to
ones.
go through mine in that top shelf on the that thing over on the far right edge, you can barely see it. I'd pull out oddballs like a regular 7-sided figure, 30-sided, and the colloquial golf ball.
You're a mathematician. I didn't do it. But you're a mathematician. This is to be expected.
They also sometimes do serve as classroom props, just like the Klein bottle earlier. Right. So, boffer style. Somewhere in this apartment, I have one of those big ass shields that is the maximum that game allows in terms of area. Because while yes, I am one of those ranged combatants, people love sneaking up on the range, folks, and I just love to have a shield in front of me. He's like, nope. Gather my thoughts for a moment, and then I don't react well being surprised. Oh, hey, it's a big-ass shield. Yeah. You got to give me props for that. Ow! Shield bashing is not allowed in that game, actually. It's a safety thing. Of course. Yes, it is. The foam weapons have to be... There is a safety marshal on hand whose job is to check all weapons, make sure they're not going to actually cause actual harm. Because some people swing those boffer weapons a little too big an arc on the swing, and angular speed over time, the angular acceleration, if you increase the arc length. Can you tell I'm teaching trigonometry this month?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, when you're generating with that level of mass, creating that angular acceleration to go ahead and create your proper torque and inertia, that way you can go ahead at the end of the day and just say, I hit it with my axe.
Yeah. And then afterwards, when the person actually does suffer physical harm, and the game has to be, and a hold has to be called, which basically a time freeze for proper medical and such, they wonder what happened, and someone has to get asked a question. No, that wasn't an actual question. I was hoping for a monkey there for the pun, but tough crowd tonight. But yeah, that's basically how those go. The mages are, you have the verbal part of the spell, and then you throw a usually some kind of birdseed little spell packet and such. That's why I'm the ranged guy. But usually, I'm not the person in direct combat. I'm supporting those frontliners with the buffs necessary to make them actually able to deal with those things that are being faced that the plot staff are throwing at us. Buffers tend to be a lot more collaborative and player versus environment, whereas the salon games can often get that intrigue of player versus player in there, despite their best efforts of trying to really be player friendly. But two characters conflict, there will always be that element. You can't get around it. Applications of game theory, anyone? Yeah. And Nordic, let our powers combine. Yeah, these are your big bucks, big theatrics. You're out there at a castle and somewhere in Europe and actually fully immersed in the environment because the environment actually exists versus some state campsite up in Georgia for me for the Boffer LARPs. Or in the case of starting off with the salon games, an area on a college campus, and it's a student organization, so they get room access and such. And they bring in what little props they can to try and get the atmospheric element, but usually it just ain't there. Any questions in general in the topic here? Because that was a pretty quick summary, I must say.
I mean, not entirely. The way you explained it and how I imagine everything is well, because I can see the Nordic as more like, if you were to look at the one for all videos on YouTube, your Nordic is like that, where they have the actual scenes and everything else.
And even though it's called Nordic, that's pretty much where this style originated. You can get a Nordic LARP pretty much anywhere in the country nowadays, but they're a bit costly.
As you would expect.
Let me see if I can find something here. NordicLARP.org. Yeah, that's a thing, apparently.
Did you expect it to be not a thing?
I did not. I did not, because it's a category, not a. Now, here's an interesting one. Actually, I'm gonna. Yep, I'm officially off script now. There was an event. I will pull up the old share the screen. This is actually a Vampire the Masquerade or Vampire the Requiem, I forget which based, but Oppa Nordic style. And, of course, Nolens, Louisiana. This was a couple months ago. I actually know one of the people who worked this show. Their Saturnalia event, and you can tell the costuming and the environment all top notch. Now, ticket cost? Yeah, of course, the event's over out there, but hundreds of dollars.
I mean, again, place like that, Nolens, yeah.
Yeah. You want the premiere ticket? 100,000 pennies. If it wasn't for a certain Dragon Con I go to, this would have been on my list.
All I'm saying is, even outside of Dragon Con, there would be better things to an extent that I would be able to do in Nolens or in adjacent areas for $1,000. Nothing against that itself, but I'm not that hardcore when it comes to, well, stuff like that.
But yeah,
If you're wondering how all of that will tie together, go back and look on Twitter at last night's episode of Point of Viewer.
So, yep, there's your insight as to when I refer to a travel weekend, it's usually for that offer event, which, by the way, I get to do next week.
No wonder there was such good. No wonder there was such good timing for this episode.
Yep. That, and I mean, 2-for-1 bagels. Can't go wrong with that. Unless you get the sausage one, then you're doing it wrong.
Sausage bagel, not necessarily. Other sausage stuff at McDonald's and even sausages a la carte, yeah.
Sausages for me, it's links over patties, though.
See, I disagree. I'm definitely much more of a patty guy myself. Nothing against sausage links. I've had sausage links. Patties to me are much more versatile.
You're also more southern raised than I am.
Thank you. See?
Like, for example, I will not eat grits. Won't happen. Not gonna occur. Zero chance. No chance in hell.
It's been forever since I've had some good grits. But I'm much more of like the sweet kind of grits guy rather than the savory. Nothing against the savory. You know, if you put in some like cheese and some bacon bits and stuff, I'll slam it down. It's just, again, my preference.
Apologies for the visual that I am about to put over as we get a final thought music that was actually rather appropriate for this. There are certain foods that I just will not touch. Grits. Boiled red cabbage. The smell alone will drive me away. Applesauce.
Hold on.
Later on, a broccoli and cheese soup because of what it does to my digestive system. Put it this way, I'll be locked in the bathroom like somebody with a mushroom.
I'm throwing a flag on the play about the applesauce. Really?
When you have a food that looks the same consistency coming up from your stomach as it did when it went down into your stomach, that's a no-go from me. Grits and applesauce fall into that category.
You hear this guy? You hear this guy?
It's a food texture thing. I believe somebody can empathize with that.
Did you really have to go there with the mushrooms?
Yes, I did. I needed to make the point that severely, and it necessitated that kind of response because that's what a broccoli and cheese soup does to me.
Is the producer appealing to the referee on that call?
I don't see nobody wearing nose stripes tonight. Oh, look what I did.
You realize that before we went on air, right? He had his ref shirt on. I had this pullover hoodie down, looking like Bill Belichick, and we were about to do a special.
Oh, go on. What is the special that's coming up here on the Not a Network Podcast Network? Upon the immediate conclusion from the Nielsen ratings tonight.
Yeah, because of course. Hey, look at that! We have the official network referee here.
I ask again: is the producer appealing to the referee?
I think the head referee needs to throw another few flags.
Good thing those blinds haven't suffered any damage yet.
Upon conversation, illegal reference of mushrooms and digestive tract on Nielsen, 15-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Well, at least it was only a second down. That wasn't a fourth down. Then the punting would be fierce. If you're wondering where that's a reference to, go check the history of the Nielsen ratings, and you'll learn why. Oh, that game was terrible.
I mean, technically, I can't be mad because appropriate Nutri reference is appropriate.
So,
yeah. All right, I'll pick up the flag.
Yay. All right, I think that's all for tonight. Wow, we're actually under 40 minutes. I'm shocked. Shocked! Yeah, not at all shocked. It's only a two-topic show. Unless you've got a spontaneous, possibly work safe adjacent topic for the show.
All I'm going to say is I have been assigned a lot of YouTube homework, and I'm going to follow through with that. You'll hear about that in coming weeks on Point of Viewer, Sunday nights here at the Not a Network Network.
Did the producer just give me some inspiration for a topic?
No, that was me cueing your done theme.
Oh, check out Colonel Failure on YouTube. He's working on a Transport Fever series that's wrapping up. He's doing some superb work with trains. And I wouldn't be surprised if he drops a Tracks and Beats episode soon.
Oh, yeah.
Those are delish.
Considering as how he's wrapping up the last route of the Megalopolis, I'd say within the next couple of weeks.
Fair. Also, you may wish to check mic positioning.
The fact that you can still hear me, even with my mic being over there, I mean, the producer himself will tell you, this mic could be laying on my couch, and you can faintly hear conversations from my kitchen.
There's only one thing I have to say about couches. And that is fuck Tim Couch! This has been the Nielsen ratings. We'll catch you next time. Hopefully on time next month, as I'm getting a cue to hurry the hell up. Good fight. Good night. Wrong show, I know. I don't care, though. Being rushed off. But I'm being rushed off a class. This is okay.